Greetings and bienvenue, midnight crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
B18, working alone at a liquor store. Worst part of town. Homeless guy comes in, introduces himself and politely makes me an offer. Says he'll clean the entire outside area of the store in exchange for some water and a packet of potato chips. Sure, fuck it. Why not? That motherfucker cleans like there's no tomorrow. Picked up every speck of broken glass, every plastic bag, and every crushed can. He obtains a broken tree branch and uses it as a broom to sweep away excess dirt. Lastly, he rifles through the bushes and extracts no less than 12 hypodermic needles which the crackheads dump there overnight. Honor the pact, I provide him free water and a few bags of potato chips. He thanks me and goes on his way. About 20 minutes later, police sirens converge all around the store. I see cops and paramedics sprinting into the rental truck place next door. As I said, it's a shitty area, so not unexpected, but I monitor the situation. After about an hour, 2 uniformed police walk in. Ask if I've seen anyone walking around with a bottle of water and some chips. I say yes, explain to them what happened earlier. They leave, return a few minutes later with a photo of a water bottle and chip packets, specifically over the barcode. I manually enter the barcode number into the register. Yep, it's the water and chips I gave him. Turned out that, immediately after receiving the goods, he left my shop. Walked directly to the rental truck place next door. Calmly walked inside, approached the counter. Violently stabbed a 51-year-old administrative clerk in the throat. Stabbed her repeatedly, she died there and then. He calmly walked off. Turned out there was no motive, no reason. In court, his only explanation was something along the lines of, I don't know, I just wanted to kill somebody that day. Pic in OP post is a photo I took of a crackhead customer that came in on my last day of work there. He showed me his eyes and said, "Take a picture bro, show your friends. Show all your friends, bro." That was a crazy place. Had knives, guns, robberies all the time. Once I got bottled over the head. I've only got one story that was more unnerving and chilling than the homeless dude. Op here dumping another story to get it moving. Dude rolled into the shop. Dodgy as fuck. Picks up a 1-liter bottle of Gentleman Jack's. I stand in front of the door, as he obviously proceeds to leave without paying. Nah man, it's not free, pay or leave it on the counter. He does the usual, what cunt, etc. He can't swing because he has to hold this Gentleman Jack's in his hand. As I'm talking, he starts shaking his head at me. Think WTF? I wasn't asking him questions and it was just an unusual thing to do. Kind of walk towards him so he's further in the shop, back him towards the counter. Rip the bottle out of his hand and throw it onto the chair behind the counter. Pick up bottle of wine in my hand and keep it by my side. Leave or I'm just gonna call the cops man. Abuses me and swears as he walks out. Check CCTV footage to print out his photo. What I see fucking terrifies me. As I was standing at the door, there was someone behind me. Can't tell exactly what it is, but the guy has what appears to be one of those big, forearm-length, screwdrivers at his right side. He quietly moved right behind me as I confronted this dude and was looking at him. That's why the dude was shaking his head. He was telling his buddy not to murder me. Was actually kind of thankful in hindsight, but fuck them man. Lesson learned. Always assumed there were more people outside if people were robbing the inside. Lesson learned. Have room behind you to move, but Jesus, you need to know what's there. Nice old boy rolls up. Make conversation about where he's from. After a while he can't find the port he's after, so he leaves. As he leaves he says,
"Hey white fella, found this tin C on the ground.
and puts it on the counter. A few minutes later I notice at least 3 bottles of vodka are missing. Fuck that cunt. Go for a jog out front of the shop. See him, ask for the bottles. Can see them in his bag while he denies ever having met me. He tries to walk away. Fuck it. I stop him and try to grab his bag. See that one of the bottles is already half fucking empty. He says, all right, have this one then, while handing me the half-empty bottle. Notice that his other hand is gripping the neck of another bottle in his bag. Fuck. This cunt's trying to bottle me. I rip the half-empty bottle out of his hand and brandish it as a weapon. Tell him to drop his bag before I smash him. In his drunken slurred state he hesitates, so I push him and grab his bag. Take the remaining 2 bottles and leave the half-empty one so he doesn't harass my staff later on. As I'm walking back to the shop, a car full of crackheads that I know pull up. Think, oh fug, they think I just robbed their grandpa or some shit. They scream, behind you bro, fuck, turn around. Old boy is no less than 2 steps away from me with the biggest fuck off, serrated, gut hook hunting knife I've ever seen. Nearly bottle him instantly but think better of it. Slowly jog ahead of him while he stumbles after me, throwing rocks and sticks. He stops after about 50 meters or so, taunting me with the knife and yelling how he's going to slit me from ear to ear. Laugh and head back to the shop. Here's how I got bottled during a violent robbery, nearly bashed by 4 guys in the waiting car, and almost mowed down by their 4x4. Missed me by under a meter. 2 guys roll into shop. Do a runner with like 6 bottles of spirits. I managed to wrestle a 1L Smirnoff from one of them. Give chase. Notice that there's vodka all over me. The bottle got cracked when I was wrestling for it. Think, fuck you then, and hurl bottle at car. It completely explodes the back window of the car. Think, fuck yeah, and then realize what I've done. Have gut feeling to turn around. There's some Reggie Gigas right behind me, pulling his shirt over the back of his head, stupidest cunts out, to try and hide his face, fists raised. It's on. Raise my fists and walk towards him, he backs away. Won't come towards me. All of a sudden, all the doors in the car behind him, in front of me, open. Oh fug. Wave. 4 others pour out of the car. They're holding what appears to be poles, sprinting towards me. I remember I have my pocket knife in my pocket. Pull it out. Reggie Gigas says, "You're a dog cunt, like WTF? There's literally 5 of you with weapons." Instantly, something smashes me across the face. Thought I got punched by someone but no one else was around me. Realize that one of the cunts from the car hurled a fucking bottle at me and it landed smack bang between my eyes and exploded on my face. Fair enough, I smashed their car window. As they get closer I realize I need to get the fuck out of the situation, but if I turn my back, Reggie Gigas is so close he'll just jump me. Hold a knife in front of me and stand ground. Reggie Gigas tests and fake lunges, runs. I call it and don't budge. He realizes he's legit going to get stabbed if he comes at me. The others are still running up to us. Cars start stopping. This is middle of the road. And start beeping. I slowly start backing towards the shop with a forward stance. They follow. The blood starts blurring my vision. I can't see shit. Make an executive decision to just fucking leg it as hard as I possibly can back to the shop. Halfway there, I can't see shit. Sprinting for my life, there's a massive sound. A big bang crack. Can't exactly tell what just happened, but hear engines roaring, cars beeping. Get the fuck back inside. Workmates are freaking out. Reviewed CCTV footage with cops when they got there. Didn't even realize, but they got back in their car and tried to mow me down. Only thing that saved me was that I moved to avoid running into a telephone booth, and their car hit a curb trying to swerve and get me, and the car got thrown into the air and onto a median strip. They drove away after that, never got caught. Further robberies. This dude rolls up, looking at premixes. Get a dodgy feel, so I stand close by. He picks up around $80 Australian dollars of alcohol. Starts subtly moving towards exit. I stop him. Bro, you gotta pay for. Instantly pulls out a knife, and presses it right into my throat with the sharp side. Staring at me with full meth-addled eyes. Literally realize that I might die over vodka cruisers. Have a good day, bro, you take it easy, man. He says, you too, and leaves. Didn't know whether or not to laugh or to want to cry. First time I ever got a knife pulled on me at that shop. Just me working, around 9 p.m. Two guys walk in, most definitely. Absolutely trying to steal spirits. One of them tries distracting me with questions. Been around the block by now, straight up call it. Interrupt him and say, I'm calling the cops, get the fuck out. This cunt walks right behind me and I feel pressure through my shirt and jumper, feel his chest against my back. Says, you won't do fuck all, bro, the fuck do you think you are, cunt, etc etc. Can't move forward because counter's there, thought he was gonna rob the store. Can't turn around because he's got a fucking knife pressed on my back. Say, alright cunt, fuck me, just go. Get fuck away from me. Proceeds to explain how he'll be back with all his cousins and wait for me to leave if I call cops. Alright mate, alright, no problems bro, just take it and go. Figured he'd grabbed a bottle of something by this point. They both fucked off. Don't understand why they didn't ask me to empty the till or some shit, but it was frightening as hell. Was only 18 at the time, found the cunt on Facebook afterwards. Didn't even bother calling the cops, wouldn't have done anything anyway. On that note, when I first started working there after it got dodgy, I flicked through the incident log. Here's one story that stood out. 4 female Aboriginal women on house arrest called the cops and asked them to take them to the bottle shop. Otherwise they were just gonna breach parole and go there anyway. The incident register literally says, 4 females escorted by police into the store. They ended up stealing literally 4 bottles of bourbon. Cops never found out. Only after reviewing footage did they see how they disappeared. Provided footage to cops, nothing happened. Literally, cops knew exactly who they were and were in their presence, had clear CCTV footage of them stealing $200 of alcohol, and didn't even bother chasing it up. Caught this dumb bitch stealing. Banned her. Caught her trying to steal literally 7 more times. Every time she was abusive and pushed, tried to punch me when I caught her. She comes in an 8th time, I straight up grab her and tell her that if she comes in here again, she'll be leaving in an ambulance. She tried to get her friends to buy her alcohol no less than 5 or 6 times, even asking random people at the front of the shop to buy it for her. Repeatedly refused to. The last time I tell her that, next time I'm keeping your cash. So she leaves me and the store alone. It works. About a week later, I'm unloading pallets from a truck. Bend down to cut some pallet wrapping, hear a whoosh smash. Something explodes on the pillar behind me. I'm showered in glass and reek of wine. See this bitch's face leaning out the passenger window of a white Commodore roll screaming past the front of the shop. Was a drive-through bottle shop leading to a 70 kph road. She was doing easily around 100 kilometers per hour. Bitch hurled a bottle of wine at me, going 100 kilometers per hour, and it missed my head by pure fucking chance. Was a pretty good through though. Late at night, regular customer called Kathy, who's also a street hooker. Kathy can be cool, but when she smokes meth she's a cunt. Kathy has no money. I politely refuse her service, let her know I can't do her tick, she gets shitty. Be nice to Kathy, offer to call her a cab and pay for it. Kathy gets aggressive. Kathy offers me a BJ for a 6-pack. Kathy gets aggressive again when I decline. My patience wears out, tell her to fuck off. She berates me from outside the shop, and berates customers too. After about 20 minutes of this I walk out and physically push her across the road. She starts swinging at me. Tell her straight up I'll knock her out if she punches me. She keeps trying to swing. Eventually she stays on the other side of the road and says she's telling her son. Serial offender, been in jail for assaults, burglaries, etc. Think nothing of it. 2 days later, her son, pick-related, rolls into the shop. Don't even have time to recognize him. Hey mate, how are you go? Instantly pepper sprays me, sprints out of the shop. Cop a mouthful of it, run outside and wash my face and vomit. Struggle to breathe, asthma puffer kinda helps but not much. Lungs feel like that feel when you eat hot chips too fast, but like, all inside my lungs. Throat gets clogged up so every time I try to spit I just end up vomiting but it can't come out properly. Shit felt like choking on whiskey really bad, whilst having an asthma attack and rubbing chili in your eyes. Had to go home afterwards, police did nothing. Car drives in. Takes me a few minutes to realize but driver is completely smashed. Refuse service. Argues, gets shitty, gets out and picks up bottle of wine before trying to get back in his car. I rip the bottle of wine out of his hand, tell him to fuck off and pick up the phone as if I'm calling the police. He gets mad about me calling the police, goes to pick up another bottle and I can tell this one's gonna get launched at my head. Pick up a short bat, wooden pole basically, from behind the counter and go ham. Yelling at him to get back in the fucking car. Push him and move back, keep my distance. He argues but gets the point, gets in his car. About 2 hours later, the same car pulls through. A different dude is driving, but recognizes driver, drunk dude as the passenger. The drunk dude just stares and doesn't say a word. Driver asks me for a bottle of Jack's, he's sober so alright, he's paying for it ya know. Get a bottle, bring the card machine over to him. As I lean into the car to hand him the machine, I see the passenger clutching something black on his lap. Realize it's a handgun. He's drunk and pissed at me, legitimately think I'm about to get murdered, drop the bottle of Jack's and sprint into back office, lock the door. Went back months to find it, but here's a pic of who I'm pretty sure was the driver, sober guy. Didn't bother calling cops because footage obviously didn't get inside the car, and they wouldn't have done fuck all anyway. Plus, if the driver got arrested, not the one with the gun, his family would have raised hell in that shop for the rest of eternity. I posted this on B out of pure chance. The lady's son was in the thread. One of the top 3 worst things I've seen at that store. Awesome regular customer called Kathy with a K, not affiliated with hooker, bitch Kathy with a C mentioned here previously. She's super nice, just lost her husband a year before I met her and is raising 3 boys on her own. Kind of fucked up mentally because of it. One day I'm serving customers and an old lady in line says,
"Oh my god, oh my god."
Turn around, there's Kathy standing in front of the counter. She's pale as fuck, clutching her neck, blood completely drenched all over her. I mean completely drenched. The floor was a puddle underneath her. Holy shit, grab my phone and dial 000 as I run to Kathy. She's just standing there eyes wide, not saying a word, clearly in terrible shock. She's not responding to me and bleeding profusely. I realize sit her down but recognize that she's about to pass out, so make her lie down. Customers are freaking out, Kathy passes out. On the phone to cops, tell them to send an ambulance on their way, looks like she was assaulted or something. I start pressing the sleeve of my jumper against her throat, it's been hacked open. Wasn't like slit or cut, it was torn open. Nearly vomited but whatever, eventually ambos arrive and a few minutes later police rock up. They rush her to hospital, never had to make a statement but one of the cops who responded came in later, different matter, and said what happened. Kathy wore a gold chain with her and her husband's wedding ring on it. 2 Aboriginal people, man and a woman, punched her and pushed her to the ground. She was on her stomach and the man tried to rip the chain off her neck from the back. It was a strong chain. He ended up putting his boot on her back and sawing the chain left and right to try and break it. Imagine you've got piano wire from behind someone and are trying to behead them. The chain sliced her neck open and the rings tore it up. New Year's Eve 2013. Out with my friend and their GF at a decent college bar downtown. Not really much of a bar person. Had a few drinks, chatting with the GF's roommates about shit. Guy comes up to me, asks to dance. His mouth and nostrils are lit up like Christmas under the blacklight. Politely decline. He follows me around the rest of the night. I never see him drink or eat anything. Midnight happens. I take off around 12:30 since I wasn't there to smooch anyone. Book it to my car to avoid Koki McStalker. Next morning, my friend from the bar messages me with a link to the local news page. Koki was arrested at 1:30 a.m. after robbing someone at knife point by the ATM next to the parking garage I had left from. Befriend an old street hooker who says her name's Wendy. Eventually Wendy introduces me to her neighbor. He just happened to kind of roam the same streets as her longtime boyfriend called Rob. Rob's a real nice guy, absolute legend, old Irish bloke and a real easy person to get along with. Wendy is hardcore drinker, buys 4 cartons of Stanley Chardonnay every day. 1 carton equals 4 liters of wine, and she literally drank 16 liters of wine every day. Wendy shares her depression with me over her heroin addiction, sad to hear. Wendy and Rob don't come in for a while. Wendy comes in, looks like an absolute mess. Begs for her usual wine but can't afford to pay. Don't question her state. I know her well enough and feel bad. Say I can't tick her but I'll buy her a carton. She's really thankful. As she's talking, she says, Rob was murdered. No shit. On the news that night, I saw a report about a homeless guy who got murdered in front of a church. Some guy with a tomahawk hacked him split down the center of the head. The crazy guy heard voices telling him to purge the city, said that he thought homeless people wanted to die. Fuck man, Rob was a champion, dead set nice bloke, homeless out of mischance and wasn't a criminal. Always had a smile in the worst of times and every time he came in I opened a bottle of wine, called it a wine tasting, and got kinda drunk with him. Feel really sad about it every now and then when I think of it. It apparently took him 4 hours to die, but no one noticed because it happened at like 1 a.m. and in the morning he was found. Found out Wendy died last month from kidney failure.
One of the houses down the road is having a party. They come and go from the shop no more than 5 or 6 times in an afternoon, buying bottles of spirits every time. One of the street hookers named Brookie heads there repeatedly and comes back later crying and upset. She's smashed up and completely bashed. Refuses to let me call the police. She heads to the crack house 50 meters down the road to do whatever. Got plenty of stories on this place, one's coming up next. Notice groups of guys walking past the cars parked in an adjacent building, smashing every single window they could. Not even robbing them, just smashing the windows. Anyway, I hear a whole bunch of screaming, kinda recognize a voice. About 5 minutes later this guy, regular customer, dead set champion, rolls into the shop. Was outside putting away his smokes when someone came up and said, "I bruh got a smoke." He gave the dude a smoke, and the guy just swung at him. This guy ran and got chased by 3 or 4 guys, one of them had some kind of pole. He got hit in the ribs, back, arms or shoulders with the pole, eventually copped a schwack to the face. Came in, I gave him a beer, laughed about it, and he left. One of the primary sources of crime was a full-blown crack house 50 meters down the road, and every single house was public housing around it. One major crackhead told me he never sets foot in that particular crack house and described a scene where the bathroom had box after box after box of used needles in them, like literally hundreds. He said that the bottom of the cardboard boxes were seeping blood and meth saline fluids onto the moldy floor, and when he saw another crackhead sucking the pudel into a needle and booting it, he never returned. Wish I was making this up. By the way, here's an article on the area I worked. Another story. Befriend crackhead couple. They come in regularly. Crazy, criminal dodgy cunts, but get along with them and they never cause trouble in our shop. One day the chick comes in without her BF. Where's BF? Locked up. Oh, for long. Reckon he'll get 20 years. That was the end of that conversation. Turned out he murdered his older brother, who was also a regular. The family came in after the funeral later, and I shared a beer with them as we chatted for a while. Last I heard, the dude almost got killed in prison. 3 days later I saw the GF grinding on her ex-BF's cousin at the bus stop. A week later, that cousin comes into the shop clearly choked up. He hardly ever drinks. I say, Joe man, everything all right? His auntie got murdered. She was found dumped on the road out front of a crack house in the northern suburbs. Realize that this kind of violence truly does run in family trees.
Make friends with this nice chick cop who often responded to our calls. From June to July 2015. I called the police at least twice every shift, and I worked 6 days a week. I know this because I went back on my phone logs for 000, as Vodafone called and asked if I was accidentally calling 000, and wondering why there were so many frequent calls. One time, she was in our shop literally every day that week. I was there every day. She comes in with some detectives one day investigating some serious shit, ask me for footage through a particular time and want me to show them the footage there and then. I do so. As they're taking notes, I offer them a Tim Tam. They all accept. We get to banter and start talking. As we're talking, a bicycle screams through the drive-through section of the shop and keeps on rolling. A few seconds later 3 dudes sprint through the shop as well. One of them has a cricket bat. They're clearly chasing the dude on the bike. Everyone froze. I laughed and said, "Ha, crackheads." They laughed too, shrugged, and we kept talking. Was funny to see how normalized that kind of activity was in the area. When I got bottled, one of the detectives was the one who got the call. Was funny when he rolled up like, "Oh, shit. Hey Anon. Yo Dave, what's good man? You're bleeding bro, need an ambulance?" "Nah man, it's good." My boss was like, "What the fuck man, ah ha ha."
Really nice old customer called Beth buys her wine and Guinness every day. Brings her granddaughter in one day, suspicious of her age but trust Beth. Anyway, a few months later the same girl comes in celebrating her 18th. Say, "You shouldn't have risked me getting a fine, coming in here underage yakno." She's silent, buys her piss, gets in a car and leaves. Didn't know she was pregnant at the time. Fast forward a few months. She comes in and shows me her baby. Talks about how she's changing her life around now, doesn't do illegal stupid shit, is determined to give her child the best life possible, etc., etc. Tell her well done, tell her to be proud. Later that night, see this article. It was that exact same chick. Laughed my ass off, wasn't surprised.
Massive, hugely ripped, bikey-looking guy called Darcy comes in. Tells me he used to be a champion boxer. I'm a boxer too and I completely believe him. Offers me free tickets to his next fight. He's punch drunk and meth-brained, makes him friendly enough to have conversation with. One day I hear a commotion around the construction site opposite the shop. A whole bunch of construction workers screaming at this huge bloke. I recognize it's Darcy. Darcy has a shovel in his hand and is not fucking around, is having a go at all the construction workers. They're shitting themselves. One of the workers throws what appears to be a can of beer at Darcy. Hits him square in the face. He just starts approaching. Like not running but rapidly walking in an unstoppable way. They all run. Darcy uses his shovel to smash the fuck out of their diggers, cranes. Can see the site manager calling the police. the security guard wisely chooses to do nothing. Darcy wreaks havoc, brings carnage to the site, throws everything he can and hurls bricks at the workers. Darcy throws a power tool at one of the workers, hits him, looked so brutal I audibly say, "Fuck me." Darcy strolls out in that same unstoppable walking manner, shovel in hand. I yell out to Darcy, "Hey bro." Darcy yells back, "G'day young fella," walks off into a side street. Cops arrive, ambulance too a few minutes later. One of Darcy's mates, Steve, who's a career criminal, teardrop tattoos etc., comes into the shop a month later. Tells me that Darcy's gone crazy from meth, hasn't slept in weeks. He was chatting to Darcy in a local town and Darcy just started randomly picking fights with people, accusing them of following him. Darcy reckons the triad are out to get him from a big deal he fucked up years ago. Says that Darcy was walking around town with a massive, humongous fuck-off hunting knife. Steve said that Darcy was a time bomb and guaranteed going to murder someone soon. Darcy self-ended 1 week later. This is one of my all-time favorites, by far. Group of crackheads out the front of the store. Arguing as per usual, they get into a fight. Watch it through the windows. Actually a pretty good fight. Not the usual crackhead stoosh. One of the guy's girlfriend pulls out a knife, a big kitchen knife, from her bag. "Aw yes. Wave." Other guy instantly knocks her out. I'm loving this, best thing that's happened all day. Cop car rolls past. The two fighters scatter. The other crackheads use their crackhead hive mind, and give all their crack to one particular dude quickly. He fucking runs. Within seconds, must have been chance, a dog squad car rolls up. The dude with the crack sprints through our shop. We've got one cop car blocking the exit of our drive-through, lights flashing. We've got a dog squad car blocking the entrance, lights flashing, dog and cop jump out and chase the crackhead with the drugs. One of the other crackheads gets pissed because he knows his crack is now as good as gone. Picks up a $3 ice sign, ironically, and hurls it at the first police car. Picks it up, hurls it again, begins smashing the cop car. I'm just in awe at the scene. 30 seconds ago I was bored. Knocked out crackhead still on the ground, kinda convulsing at this point. Another cop car rolls up, they jump out towards crackhead with the sign. He runs at them, so they tase him. This shit just keeps getting better. My mind is blown. People at the nearby cafe think we got held up or something. They all run over to see what's going on. By now crackhead girl is waking up, notices her boyfriend getting arrested. Starts a ruckus, the other cop pepper sprays her. Inadvertently pepper sprays the crowd of onlookers from the cafe that had come to see what's up. There's 3 cop cars, a tased crackhead screaming, a sprayed crackhead choking, a dog tearing at a crackhead's leg on the road, and a crowd of onlookers writhing in pain, clutching at their eyeballs. There's an absolute fucking champion pensioner called Billy who lives on the corner, can see his house from the store. Used to give me weed cookies for cheap piss, I'd take them and give them to my buddies. Always good times and great banter with Billy. One day it's quiet, I'm restocking cigarettes. Motion beeper goes off. I stand up from behind the counter, say, "G'day." See a fucking gun. Some cunt in a fucking dark hoodie, face covered, pointing a legit handgun at me. Oh fug, I'm dead. PNG. Before I can even put my hands up, he screams.
Suck my balls, cunt.
So confused and terrified I can't even respond. Next minute, fucking laughter from the guy. He pulls off his hoodie and it's Billy. This 60-year-old motherfucker nearly gave me a heart attack. Fuck me Billy, what the fuck mate, I was about to press the panic alarm, cunt. We laugh about it as my heart races. We make banter, discussing the little .22 handgun he illegally bought somewhere. Hold it in my hand, pull out magazine, nice little thing, tiny though. As I'm doing this, 3 dodgy fuckers roll in. Start causing trouble, one of them arguing with me, one of them clearly trying to steal, the other arguing with Billy. I say, "All right, all of you get the fuck out or I'm calling the cops." Billy, half drunk and feeling brave, says,
"Yeah, get the fuck out."
They all move towards Billy and start harassing him, clearly about to fight him. Think that I'm about to watch poor Billy get absolutely smashed. Start panicking and pick up wooden bat as it escalates. Need a minute, Billy starts screaming and pulls out the handgun, waves it at them. Never have I seen crackheads with such looks of terror. They fucking run like Usain Bolt on meth. Billy and I piss ourselves laughing. He puts the handgun away, we remark about the good timing. Billy waits for them to disappear and walks back home. 5 minutes later, cops came asking for CCTV footage of something unrelated. Up here, got some less creepy and more crazy stories instead. Me working alone. Some guy rolls up in his car from the wrong direction, nearly crashes into another car. Happens often, sigh, whatever go to serve him. Realize that he's naked. In barely comprehensible English, he manages to slur, "A 6-pack of VB please." Respond, "Mate, there is absolutely no fucking way you're getting served." He argues, realize that he's truly absolutely 9 out of 10 fucked. Realize that my mother is driving on the same roads he is. Fuck this, say, "Alright bro, no problem, that'll be $16.99 thanks, cash or card." As he reaches for his wallet on the seat next to him, I realize he is completely butt naked. I reach into his car and pull out the keys. Drunk cunt doesn't even notice. I take his cash and say, "2 secs bro. Call the police. Tell them exactly what happened and ask them to get someone there ASAP." About 10 minutes passes, the dude starts swearing and yelling. For some reason he's not getting out of his car. About 15 minutes passes and this guy is fucking pissed. Call cops again and tell them to please hurry up. Dude exits his vehicle, completely naked, and in full dick swinging glory proceeds to stumble towards me and falls over a pallet. Knocks himself unconscious. Laugh my ass off so hard I nearly piss my pants. Call the cops again, tell them, "Never mind, send an ambulance." Ambulance takes him, cops never rocked up still. I took his keys and drove his car and parked it out the front of our shop. When I was in the car, I noticed there were needles in the compartment between driver-passenger seats. He never came to get the car. Probably stolen. It got towed like a full month later by the council. Lady comes into shop, pays and leaves. Afterwards, notice an empty wallet on the counter. Check cameras. Another customer dropped his wallet, she stole all the cash and cards, and then put the wallet on the counter. Felt bad because in her mind she kinda tried to do the right thing, but she's still a piece of shit. Posted up her picture as per usual. Later that afternoon, there's a big flash mob of Aboriginal people rolling from around the corner where all the trouble is. I'm talking legit 40+ people, all screaming and throwing rocks, sticks at this one lady who's sprinting away from them all. Recognize the lady as the one who left the wallet on the counter. Curious, so I observe. They chase her to a bus stop, they all corner her and converge. All I hear is screaming. See some big ol' woman grab a piece of concrete from the construction site behind the bus stop. See her smash it down, screaming stops. Commotion continues for a few more minutes, eventually the mob leaves. See the woman lying there, kind of moving but not much. Consider helping but not gonna risk getting flash mobbed by Aboriginals, plus she stole from our customers, plus she's probably got AIDS in her blood, plus I had a store full of customers to look after myself. Inevitably, ambulance arrives around 10 minutes later, cops arrive around 15 minutes later. Talked to one of the ladies in the flash mob later that day. Yeah, dat Poxy stole Auntie's phone and wallet. Then we found out she stole our fucking Pip Una. Google Translate. She stole her family member's property and drugs. Such is life. Here's one that will give you an insight as to how frustrating it is to live in such an area. Not far at all from where I worked, there lived a guy called Ben Batterham. Google it, it's all in the news. Ben was celebrating his birthday party. Here's what happened. 3 a.m., he goes inside to get more drinks. Sees something through a window of his house. Looks, sees a giant guy in his wife and infant daughter's bedroom, opening and rifling through his jewelry cabinets. He runs inside, the thief runs out. Ben and his mates chase the thief, as they call the police. The thief falls over, so Ben jumps on the guy to hold him down. The thief starts pummeling Ben, he's huge. Ben puts him in a headlock. The thief won't stop struggling, even bites Ben so hard that his arm gets torn. Ben keeps the guy in a headlock. The guy was high on meth and his heart rate spiked, and he had a heart attack. Dies in hospital a few days later. Ben's been charged with murder, life ruined. The thief had just got out of jail a few weeks before, for previous burglaries. Before that, he was in jail for years, because he assaulted a 16-year-old girl at knife point. He had countless other charges before then. His mother went on a news sympathy rant about how good her boy was, how her other son had to go inspect the body, and said, "Mom, you don't even want to know what they did to him, he looked so bashed up." Then footage emerges of her by her son's bedside. Mum says her family is gonna kill Ben's family. No charges made against her for those threats, too. Here's another crazy one. New guy's first day. Pretty cruisy, but explain to him that he needs to be careful. Give him some examples, i.e. above stories. He doesn't believe me. Straight up calls me a liar and refuses to believe the area is that bad. Literally mid-sentence, we hear a series of massive crashes, followed by glass shattering. WTF.jpg. We look out the front of the shop. Across the road is a deli next to a cafe. It's getting its windows kicked in by some Aboriginal guy, who's swearing and screaming. I yell out to him, "Yo man, what the fuck?" He yells back, "They're supposed to fucking close at 7. It's fucking 6:50. Continues kicking in the windows. They eventually smash, he runs inside. Alarms are now blaring. He's followed inside by a few others who were loitering around. Moments later they rush out, carrying swaths of goods. New guy's just stunned, speechless. Out of pure chance, I see an undercover cop car cruising down the road towards us. I hail them down, they instantly spin around. Black male, gray shirt, gray hat, just robbed that deli, heading south on X Street. Coppa replies, "Thanks mate." Screeches towards the corner. He was literally less than, I estimate, 15 seconds behind the offender. Never got caught. Deli remained smashed open, alarms blaring, for the rest of the night. I witnessed at least 4 padawagons drive past and completely ignore the smashed up scene, with alarms, sirens blaring. At 10 p.m. when I closed up and left, it was still in that state. New guy lasted 2 weeks. In lieu of guns, here's what us Aussies have. Luck, chance, fists, a delicate balance of courage and stupidity. Occasionally, a pole or something to that effect. If you're lucky and have reasonable cause, a knife. World turns round differently here, but on the plus side, it means that most of the criminals aren't carrying guns either.
Did you enjoy tonight's stories from Down Under? Then I have the perfect channel for you to check out. One of our Aussie friends from around the world, no, his name isn't Bruce, it's Mr. Greentexts. He is one of the few channels that narrates his Greentext stories with his own voice. His content is always fresh, consistent, and he is an absolute mad lad. Go check his videos out either with the links in the description or the pinned comment below.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.